What's going on, LAFB family? Before we get to the show, got to tell you about my friends over at Sleeper, the number one sports app right now, and not just for season-long fantasy. They have daily game updates. They have a live chat that you can chat with other users. Plus, my favorite part is the daily fantasy feature, which is similar to a pick'em. You just choose 2 or more players across any sport, choose more or less in whatever sport that may be. So if it's football, more or less touchdowns. For Jaden Mayava, if it's Mekhi Lemon, more or less receptions. If you're looking at the Dodgers, more or less home runs for Shohei Ohtani. Really easy, and you can win real money. Right now, when you go and make your first deposit, make sure you use our promo code. You see it right there on the screen, USC LAFB. That's going to give you a match deposit bonus up to $100. You put in $100 to play with, you're going to get $100 free on top of that. You can put in 10, you get 10 free. Also, right now, our friends are offering a $20 free entry for any new signups. If you go sign up today, you'll get both those offers. You get $20 right off the bat free to play with. Plus, use that promo code USCLAFB at sign up and you'll get that match bonus as well. Go to the App Store, Google Play, download the Sleeper app today, and tell them that the USC LAFB sent you. Now, let's get on to the show. Hey, Trojan family, what is going on? Welcome to the USC LAFB show. Ryan Dowd here, joined as always by my man, Tim Prangley, talking all things USC Trojans here on the LAFB network. Tim, first and foremost, how you doing, my friend? How we doing on this fine Monday evening?
Feeling great. Mondays are a lot smoother and nicer, Ryan, when you're coming off a victory on the weekend. I got to tell you, just the sun's a little brighter, even though it was kind of cloudy here in Long Beach today. But atmosphere is great. It's rough, especially when you lose going into a bye week. Sit around a week stewing for that, a couple of weeks. But a great win for SC, and things are looking up.
Yeah, 100%. Dodgers parade was today, so the vibes were high all over Los Angeles. But I think there's a lot of optimism with this USC team right now. And so Tim and I wanted to kind of talk about tonight. Obviously we've talked about it a lot, I think, throughout the season, throughout the last 3 seasons. Obviously he's the man in charge, and that's Lincoln Riley. But this game, it was so important, Tim, because it was, this team has struggled mightily on the road. We've documented, it's been well documented. We've talked about it a ton. And it just felt like this game, we talked about it on the live after, but it really felt like something was changing, right? They won on the road, and they won it in a way they've never won before. What to you, does this change your outlook on Lincoln Riley at all? Like, are you more like, okay, we saw him do something different, I feel better? Do you feel the same, or do you still have lots of question marks? Kind of what barometer are you after this win in Lincoln, for Lincoln?
Yeah, I tend not to be as up and down as a lot of fans might be. I'm really trying to pull back as much as I can and look at the not just this season, but really what they're building program wise at USC. But if we want to look at this game and the evolution, of maybe where we might go with Lincoln Riley, not much has changed. No, to be honest with you. I mean, I want to sit at the end of the season and look at all of it, kind of like I did last year, kind of look at the high points where you have these close wins where you're like at Michigan, close losses at Michigan, at Penn State, and saying, wow, I mean, legitimately that you're a player away, maybe a drive away here from getting over the top. But this season, it seems like USC, as far as the defense, I thought this would be the year of the defense, to be honest with you. I thought that Lincoln Riley had finally turned the corner and had a defense that was going to be able to be dominant in the Big Ten. And the word's still out on that one. I think Lincoln Riley has put to bed the idea that he doesn't know how to call games. I mean, we've had people talking about, should he be the play caller, etc. And my stance on that all along was like, yes, that's why we hired him. If not, why is he here? So, going into the offseason, once we get there, that will be a conversation to be had. But I like the way how they won, like you started. I've been calling for years now that I want to see USC actually win a game with their defense out there, have the defense kind of close it out. We haven't seen that, even going back to when we had Caleb. It was like, I guess that Utah game up in Salt Lake City. We couldn't get them off the field. They marched down, they win the game-winning touchdown, 2-point conversion. So it was great to see that for the defense. Great to see Lincoln Riley stick to the run and really heavy run in this game, because the pass game wasn't working, and he could do it on the ground. I think Lincoln Riley's offenses are the healthiest when they're able to run very good. So I think he's just showing us what we thought we were going to get. I think a lot of people were forgetting a lot of stuff that why we were excited he came. And I think in this game, he showed that he could win even when his quarterback's having a bad night. Receivers are dropping balls. He can scheme it up. One weird formation early on in the game, but after that, and then also maybe getting all the way down inside the 10-yard line, and then all of a sudden, for some unknown reason, throwing the ball 3 times. But beyond that, play calling, the players on the field, there was a heart. There was a heart in this game. A lot of hard fought wins, and this is one that can go in that category where USC just found a way to win. And in a season where in the past, especially last year, USC would have found a way to lose. So yeah, Ryan, I mean, there are some positives in this.
Yeah. Yeah. I've always tried to be, I think we both have, and I think Jamal included, like where, I'm not one that likes to look at a possession by possession coaching success rate. I mean, success rate obviously over a season. Yes. But I'm not going to watch one possession and be like, all right, I'm out, like fire him. Like we see all over social media. I've always said, like, let's see how the game finishes. Let's see how the season finishes and then make our assessments. I will say though, Tim, I will admit, after that first half was like probably the first time where I was like, this might be it. This might be it. After that first half, I was like, oh man, it just like after coming off a bye week, how poor both sides of the ball looked. The defense obviously played better in the middle stretch of that first half. They had the bookend touchdowns, essentially, they gave up. But offensively, just not able to do anything. You had some success running, but then faltered. And so it was the first time I really was like jumping to a rash kind of snap opinion. I didn't put it out there because I was like, hey, I'm still going to see the game finish, but in my head, I was there. I was living in that world, Tim, with all of our fan base that just shouts from the rooftops and shouts at clouds. But then we saw that change in the second half. And this is why you play 4 quarters. This is why you play 60 minutes. This is why you have this coaching staff that I still believe is a really good coaching staff from top to bottom.
Yeah.
And you saw adjustments. You saw the no quit in this team. You saw the fight. You saw the resiliency. And obviously it paid off. And, sure, people can blame all they want of like the QB getting injured or certain stuff going their way. But in a day and age in football, you kind of have to, yes, you get some luck, but you also have to kind of create your own luck. And, in years past, when the luck was going against USC, no one cared, right? You still lost the game. No one cared that they got bad luck or got bad calls or had bad injuries. You lost. Now they won. And the thing I take biggest from it, Tim, and I'll ask you this, is nationally, everyone called this a great win for Lincoln Riley and USC. I think there's still a lot of fans that are like, uneasy about it, which I get, as every right to be. But I think nationally, everyone was calling it, that I saw anyway, was like, okay, this was a really important win for Lincoln Riley. And this was a very good win for a program that needs to prove their toughness, prove their resiliency, prove they can win on the road. They did all 3 of those things. So I feel there's still questions, of course. The job's not done. You got a long way to go, but I feel better after this game than I did going into it.
Yeah, for sure. And just to kind of piggyback what you said earlier about the halves, there's 2 halves of football. There's also, 2 halves of the season. We've seen to where we got excited and you beat up on some lesser competition, and then all of a sudden the real guys hit you in the face, and then you realize, oh, there's a second half to the season. So it's important to wait. That's one of the reasons why I'm saying you wait in the game till the game turns the way it does, and you also wait till the season ends. You didn't hear anybody crying for us. I know Dylan Raiola went down. I wish him the best. That looked like so he basically broke his fibula, I think is what. Yeah. It looked rough when he went down. But I didn't hear anyone in the media or anyone crying about the fact that USC lost both of its running backs at Notre Dame. You know why? Because this is football. You know what I mean? This is the way that you have to adjust. And USC adjusted. They got more aggressive, knowing that they had a freshman quarterback coming in, and Danton Lynn took over the game play calling. And we didn't hear from the Nebraska. We didn't hear from the Nebraska offense again. And so, a team at USC, like we're playing walk-ons because of injuries. Granted, very special walk-ons. Injuries are going to happen. And it is a good win. I mean, if you want to call it gutty, that's, oh no, wait, hold on. That's for across town. If you want to hear it, the fact that USC dug deep and got a win, like I said, an unconventional way. When USC can't throw the ball, they ran the ball and they ran it effectively. I think that's a great win. It's on the road. That's a great win. Any wins on the road in the Big Ten, especially beginning of this Lincoln Riley tenure in the Big Ten, any wins a great win if you win on the road. So, I mean, there's layers to this. What happened to the narrative that USC can't play in the cold? It was near freezing temperatures, couldn't pass the ball, had to play, right, Ryan? They had to play Big Ten football. And then we're hearing Big Ten. You got to play Big Ten. And our trenches, by the way, are young. They're only get better, and we're restocking in 2026, and there's going to be more in 2027. So recruiting's taking off. The development with these coaches are taking off, and USC is winning in non-USC ways. And I guess Ryan fitting into the Big Ten, winning games like this.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we knew that there would have to be some change in philosophy a little bit, offensively and defensively, obviously, and body size and the way you recruit. And we've seen that philosophy shift slowly, probably not as fast as it should have, but it's starting to be the makeup of what it takes, with still some of that LA flair, right? We still get some of the glitz and glam from being out here in Hollywood, and some of the passing game and some of the trick play metrics. But overall, if you can win in the trenches, you're going to win in this league, and you're going to win in all of college football. And, got to prove it over a stretch of time. But this Nebraska game certainly proved that this team is capable of winning in the trenches against just about anybody. And, defensively and offensively. And what's crazy, it's crazy to think, Tim, if Killian Connor takes his starting job back when he's healthy, like there'll be 3 potential, depending how long Alani Noah is out, there could be 3 potential walk-ons starting on this offense. Like that's incredible.
That blows my mind. But I think that I was talking to a parent today, actually, and he basically said to me, look, the reason why Kalon Miller is not like a 4-star and playing at USC or Michigan or Oregon is because of his stature, and there's too much, especially at the college level. It is put on the, what they call it, the NFL, the Underwear Olympics, where just measuring people and the measurables and then this and that. It's a lot of time football is won by the guy with the best measurables. It's the guy that has, the biggest measures, I know it's cliche, but it's in their chest. And the guys that have that dog in them, the guys that have the willingness to fight hard and play hard. And let's face it, also have that athleticism, because is he that athletic? If he's 6'3", 6'4", probably not. One of the best things I saw Kalon do was the way he moved around and Lincoln Riley's offense, where you do need athletic, mobile lineman, and he did a great job of that. So, hats off to Kalon Miller. Obviously, we talked about King Miller a bunch, and then Killian technically started out as a walk-on, but has his scholarship. But
yeah, true.
Again, King and Kalon are going to have their scholarships soon as well. So, yeah. And then going back to it, I mean, I want to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say it. I said it probably about a couple of weeks ago. There's a really strong possibility. I mean, really strong possibility that next year USC might have the best offensive and defensive lines. Definitely combination, offensive D-line combination.
Yeah.
In the Big Ten. Who would have said that a year and a half ago?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think that's the thing, Tim. Like, you would have hoped this was the case already in year 4. And I've talked about it a bunch about, reset. And after year 2, that began year 1 all over again. But you see the steps being taken to do it the right way. And, it's a behind schedule for some people's liking, but it is going the right direction. And you do that in the trenches. And yeah, I mean, with the guys they got coming in, first you look at Elijah Vicona, Aaron Dunn, and Alex Payne, who are in the 25 class. I mean, those are 3 elite tackles. And then you look at the 26 class and all the elite playmakers with Brett Kolajay and Kenai Pepe, and I could go down the list. Guess what? Page could come back. Alani Noah could be back, probably will be back. Tobias Raymond probably will be back. Like, this is a deep group on the offensive line front. And that's what you want to see, because I think the skill positions will take care of themselves. The quarterback will take care of themselves with Lincoln Riley. There's never been a worry about that at all. And then defensively, obviously, they're building a lot of depth too. So doing it the right way. And yeah, just last thing on Kalon Miller. Yeah, he's only 6 foot 290. I mean, I saw him at practice last week or 2 weeks ago? We got to speak with him, and he's not a big dude. Like, you see him and you're like, to what you said, and it's not right, but to what you said is, you could see why he wasn't a highly touted star because of that body build. Like, people probably thought there's no way this translates. But what he did he dominated, Tim. He dominated on Saturday against Nebraska. He didn't get pushed back at all.
I mean, okay, a couple things. Okay, and this is not to disparage Kalen at all. I think he had an amazing game. Close to dominant.
Well, yeah, he wasn't like pancaking guys.
I
was a little too
physically dominating, but I mean, as far as technically dominating and athletically and just being that grease guy that makes the thing go. Yeah, he was that guy. And I think part of it was, like I said, I don't think he moves like that if he's 6'4". So that aspect to this dynamic passing scheme that Lincoln Riley loves to run, a blocking scheme, that he likes to run, it worked perfectly for Kalen. And obviously it was a heavily run game. He scored amazingly high on his PFF grades, which when it comes to the blocking, I don't know. Sometimes my eyeball, it doesn't pass the eyeball test. Maybe these are untrained eyes. But when I see PFF's grades, sometimes I'm like, especially when they have a guy rated like mediocre when he had a horrible day, or the other way around, where he looked like he was all right, but they gave him a terrible score. That happens all the time as well. But here's another thing. So we're talking about the evolution of Lincoln Riley. I'm gonna throw it at you. The run to pass split was crazy in this game. So Jaden threw the ball 23 times. USC rushed the ball 38 times. That means they ran the ball 15 more times than they threw it. I heard people talk about, it's good that Lincoln Riley was sticking to the pass and to the run. It was very balanced. No, this was heavily run. I mean, not just the fact that there were drop balls and cold weather, whatever, but the fact that there were 15 more rushes in this game than there were passes says something. Not only in the fact that he had the confidence to do it, but he has a team that can do it, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, it's the way it should have been. Obviously, the way that the game was going, not the way the game was going, but the way that the offense was working. Like the pass game just was not working for whatever reason. And give Nebraska some credit there, but the run game was working. And I mean, Caleb Miller, what did he average? Like 9.2 yards a carry or something for the whole game, or 7.2 total. But he had like a 9.1 going into halftime, I think. But I think where the credit is, there's been times where Lincoln Riley, that is, maybe hasn't fully leaned into that. And we saw that on Saturday. Again, I think that goes into the turnaround and the trust. And even if it was just a half to half, but it certainly then leaned into it. I mean, there was certain drives where they didn't throw the ball at all. Like there were some designed runs from Jaden Mayava. So it wasn't a running back run, but they were still designed running plays. And so, yeah, absolutely. And it worked. Obviously that's, they were down 14-6 and they were committing to the run. And I think that proves that even if you're losing, you don't have to abandon the run, as long as, stay calm. And Tim, which I don't know if we want to shift to, and you have to have faith that your defense is going to make some stops. Because if your defense isn't making stops, then obviously you got to speed things up and, air the ball out to just play catch up, which is what they had to do against Illinois. I mean, Illinois, they basically were forced to throw it just because the defense couldn't get a stop against Illinois. So they're like, all right, we're just going tit for tat and whatnot. Whereas this game, the defense in the second half, only gave up 3 points and had multiple 3-and-outs and played really dominant. So if you have another comment on the running game, go for it. But if not, I would say, like, how do you feel about Danton Lynn after this game? Because he's faced heavy criticism this season, as rightfully so. The defense has not been up to par. But we saw a huge turnaround from Desmond Stevens. We saw the defensive line group look a lot better, much more gap sound between the front seven in general. We've seen Marcellus Williams continue to develop at the cornerback position game after game and get better and better. I think Danton Lynn deserves a lot of credit for, starting to turn things around. Maybe not fully there yet, because we know Nebraska's offense was very limited, but you give up 17 points, 3 in the second half. That's a good defensive output right there.
Yeah. Well, before I get in trouble, because I did want to follow up on the running thing, because I think I was a little bit too sunshine pumpy about it. We got to remember, this was give Nebraska credit. They did take the pass away.
Yeah.
I mean, they did. They, when you have corners that are able to do that, I thought, when we were done with Moore and Notre Dame, that no one, because so far in the season, even Illinois, they couldn't slow down Mackay. But this is now back-to-back weeks where USC's had to go to a second or third receiver, and no one was really there. Tanook Hines had a pretty good game. I mean, I can't take it away from him on that, but Nobody really was laying up on the ground. And this was a great pass defense, but it certainly was one of the worst. It's 115th in the country in yards per carry at 5.1 yards per carry. So you damn well better be running the ball. So, I mean, I wanted to add that on to the end of it. On the defensive side of the ball, they lost. Okay. And so I know fans are tired of hearing this, but I think that Gabe had a good point. This game, SC still probably wins it. Who knows what happens, right? But it's going to be played differently. Although Dylan Raiola did not exactly set the world on fire in the first half. That's for sure. I think the defense was playing, like you said. You saw Desmond Stevens play the best game of his career. Finally getting into those, just attacking those gaps. Like I said on, I don't know if it was on the post-game show or another show. The best way to stop a really good running back, because Johnson is a really good running back, is to get him before he gets started. And I really like that way that Desmond Stevens was attacking him, playing on the other team's side of the ball, really showing for the first time for me, and why I think he was so successful is just trusting the scheme, letting the film you've watched, instinctually let you know, and play fast. Just play fast. Trust the scheme. Trust yourself. Play fast. Don't be hesitant. And I think that's why he played well. And then Marcellus Williams, Marcellus was out there, and they were picking on him. And I think he knew it. I think he took the challenge. And outside of the one PI call, which, I mean, it is what it is, fine. But other than that, he really answered the call. And not just his coverage, but tackling. I mean, the Marcellus Williams always, that's one thing you can count on out there on perimeters, that he's going to make his tackle. So in this game, he did it the other way. He really did great in coverage. And so the defense, and like I said to start the show, the defense shut the door. And that's something that Lincoln Riley teams just haven't been able to do. And they did it. They did it the other night, regardless of who the quarterback is.
Yeah, no, 100%. Did you see that clip? I think it just came out like today, but it's a clip of Sayre Wright and Lincoln Riley like catching up after the game. Did you happen to see that?
No. Positive or negative?
So, positive. It just came out. It was like they're like talking at midfield, catching up. I think.
So it wasn't like Lane Kiffin. It wasn't like a Lane Kiffin moment.
No. It was there was a guy like it would have been one of us that caught the moment, like on our phone camera. It wasn't even like a media outlet catching it. And then I think that guy, it was a Nebraska reporter, I think, posted it. But you could kind of hear some audio, and they're just catching up, and Lincoln just saying like, proud of you, and Sayre saying, hey, I needed that. Like I needed you to kind of push me, and then it forced me kind of to go here, and it really helped my career. And Lincoln just saying like, I wish nothing for the best for you. So anyway, I just bring that up, that I think, and we can kind of wrap up with this, but I think there's
really quick. Let me touch on that. I think the greatest thing could ever happen to Sayre was getting out of Hollywood.
Yeah.
And 100%. What's the least Hollywood place I can think of in the United States? I'm thinking Lincoln, Nebraska. Sorry, Lincoln. I'm just saying. So to get him out of Hollywood, take him to Lincoln, Nebraska, it's almost like the witness protection. You know what I mean? If you want to be 100%. A star, hey, send him out to the Midwest somewhere where there's all these lights aren't on him, all the distractions are gone. He can focus on his game, and it's a great story. I'm so happy for him because he's balling. He's playing great. And so I'm happy for Sayre.
100%. Yeah. And that's exactly what I was going to say. I think, happy for him, but I think there's and I'm not trying to sound all lovey-dovey here or whatever, but I think Lincoln Riley, because of his personality, there's kind of a lot of, he doesn't show a lot of emotion to the media. He kind of just stays on point when asked questions and whatnot. But I think he truly has like a true deep love for his players and a true, passion for their success, whether it's with him or with not. And I think something that this is just my opinion, but I think it's pretty true. With the transfer portal, I think there's a lot of this outside thought of, all right, if guys leave, it's because they hate being here, or they're mad about NIL, or they're mad about money, or this or that, which is certainly the case sometimes. But sometimes it's actually the staff going to a player and saying, look, I don't think this is the best fit. I think you can find success elsewhere. I would be happy to make some phone calls to some coaches that I think you would fit at. And I think that happens more often than people think. It's always just a negative divorce. Like, oh, player didn't want to be there, or coaches didn't want him, throw him out to the dogs. And I think that more often than not, it's kind of like, this just probably isn't going to be the best fit. Like we tried to make it work, but let's find where you can find success. And Sayre Wright is that perfect example. And there's obviously a clear mutual respect between the two there, and kind of a fondness that like, hey, thanks to you, I am now here thriving. And I probably wouldn't have made it if I stayed at USC because of everything else going on in the outside world. So I just think that's a little snippet of it's always cool to see it with any coach, not just Lincoln Riley, but a little bit behind the scenes of that. They're more than just $1 million football coach. Like they are trying to mold the lives of these young men at the same time of, building a championship program.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but positive things from players and players' parents. My personal experience, I'm sure yours, Ryan. He's always gracious and courteous. I don't know where he get now. He doesn't give. It can be frustrating. He doesn't give you the answer you want to give. I've been a number of times where I've been in that scrum and he's like, I just don't really do that. You're like, come on, give me something.
Yeah,
give me something. Here. But that's why the press gets pissed off. I can think of one time where he's been snippy to any of us reporters. And you guys, you don't see everything. I'm talking about stuff that's not even on the camera. You know what I mean? I've seen him pull off to the side and talk to a reporter off the camera kind of stuff. And so the idea that he's this unapproachable person, he's always been, again, very gracious to you, very, been kind to me as well. So I don't know where that comes from, to be honest with you. Again, like I said, in the only a couple of years I've been covering, he's only been here at SC for not that long, 4 years, but I can think of only one time where I'm like, oh, why'd you do that? But think about how many questions he's answered in 4 years. And it was like one question. And I'm like, so, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he's that guy. And from the parents' point of view, from players' points of view, they bond with their coach. And you could also tell, Ryan, look at the guys that will come and coach for him, the quality of guys. I think that says a lot about you. My dad used to say to me, you meet somebody, look at their friends.
Yeah.
Look who's around them and then think if you want to be with them. Well, think about Lincoln Riley. Look at the guys. He has guys like Coach Henney, there. I mean, that guy's golden. He's not going to go work for somebody who doesn't care about the kids.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I can't speak for him, but everything I've
he said that. Yeah.
About him, there's no way he does that. And he's got quality guys surrounding him. That means that he's a quality coach.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
And you translate those, Tim, to wins, and then everyone's happy, and it can all be kumbaya in Los Angeles.
It won't matter, Ryan. Look at one them out of town if you don't win. I don't care how nice you are, how much you're late, what you did for Sierra Wright. If you don't get to 9-10 wins this year, and if we're not in the playoffs next year, it's that's when the tar and feather, that's when the pitchforks and the torches are coming out, because at the end of the day, right, this is all about winning. Whether you're making 100,000 or if you're making 100 million or 30 million. It's all about winning when you're a coach, and SC's a blue blood. They will not put up with another 7-win season. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, no, this is it. And this was the point of, having this convo was this a turning point that they can, I think there's definitely, and we'll wrap this up. There's definitely more, at least from me, I think from you, from others I've seen, there is some confidence now that this team can run the table. And, we're getting ahead of ourselves. You got Northwestern this Friday, which we'll spend all week talking about it and previewing that game. But heading into Nebraska after Notre Dame, there was a lot of doubt. There's no way this team's going to go up to Eugene and win. They might lose to Iowa, who's a 6-2 team. UCLA's all of a sudden looking good. One game can shift that mindset. And all of a sudden everyone's like, okay, yeah, we could go on a little run here. And I've seen so many people nationally, is USC going to mess around and just end up in the college football playoff? There's definitely more confidence now because of that greasy win they were able to get in a chilly Lincoln, Nebraska. So
USC's a hard out at home. USC's a hard out at home.
And there's three of the next 4 at home.
3 of the 4 at home. The one downside, the little rain cloud that I'm gonna send you guys, no pun intended, up there, in Quackville. But it's the fact that SC has not, just like in South Bend, for whatever reason. And if we're ahead of ourselves, make sure SC get out to a lead, because I've seen really good USC offenses try to play catch up with the Ducks, and it just seems like, especially at Eugene, you get down that early. This is a conversation for weeks down the road, but I'm just saying, got to get that early start. I keep saying it, and I hope I see it.
100%. Got to have it. So, all right, well, we'll wrap up this segment here. Thank you, everyone, as always, for hanging out with us on the USC LAFB show. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. It helps us out, keep growing this channel. You can also become a member right here on the channel. Help us out, support LAFB, or go to LAFB Network, join our community, become a member there as we continue growing this thing and hanging out with all the Trojan fam. So for Tim Prangley, I'm Ryan Dyrud. Thank you, as always, family. And as always, fight on.